it may be a problem. It may be a problem with their this ear headsets or some problems with the computer or laptop, maybe. Right? Ask them, right? If you can't hear anything, you please just recheck your the equipment here and see whether you can set them in the proper manner. So that I have been telling you the importance of learning these things and passing your exams and collecting your certificates, and also with your certificates you have to show how quality, how advanced you are with your language. So therefore, we find that most of the teachers in our system, even last week we had a meeting at with the minister even regarding this primary education, and there are also many provincial directors and some other directors mentioned that the quality has gone down. One reason was due to this COVID pandemic, and even the minister mentioned that not only COVID pandemic, but even there are many other reasons why the system of education has gone down. So there were many reasons. So therefore, we have to make sure as teachers, other than just complaining or the worrying about the problems that we have, still we can be ready for our purpose, our pedagogical practices as teachers. So we'll see how we can really improve ourselves and how we can look at our children in a more empathetic approaches, and see how we can really help our students in that way. Right. So the advanced English that we perhaps you may be aware of the syllabus. Now this is the outline of your syllabus which I am going to cover. Right. So first, improving punctuation, so which is a very simple thing, and then improving expression, this model for writing 1 and model for writing 2, the nature and the functions of literature, and there are some parts from American literature as well. Then inspiring female writers and literature and idea, the role of philosophy and ideology in literature, and literary judgment, reading critical points of renowned critics. So finally, we are going to talk about some critical issues related to this literary judgments and all that, which you have to just simply be aware, not in great detail as teachers. It's always important to be aware of these things. So first of all, I will just give you some questions to answer and see whether you can fill in the blanks and correct these sentences. Look at these sentences and then fill in the blanks quick now. Very simple, no? It's not difficult. First one.
The.
And.
Yes. His father is
The
NAP.
the
The and no what is the correct answer?
NMP.
MP.
Oh, an MP. So usually even M is there, we pronounce it as a. A sound again.
A sound.
Egg. Emperor. A වගේ. එතකොට එතන we go by the sound. MP. Hello Mr. Faiz, good morning. ඔයා කොයි විදිහට මම lecture එකේ ඉන්නේ අර ගෙනව නම් අර can you please keep that at the gate? I will check that one. Right. 12 o'clock I am free. Thank you. I'll call you back later. Right. Thank you. Lunch is available here. Don't worry. Sure. Hari. Right.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes. Abang share the slides.
When considering the article, sir, can't we use the definite article the?
Yeah, you can use the article. His father is the MP for Rattabora district. So that means what is the difference between and the? I can't see the slides. Mom share කරන්නේ the slides.
You can see the slides, sir.
ඒකනේ. You check your this as how you can get the slides really. Others can see the slides, huh? So now here the difference between the and a. So if you say my father is the MP for Rattaburi, that means we know that he is the MP at present. Or he
Definite.
was the definite, right? And if you say my father is an MP, right? So that is how you can say instead of you can say my father is an MP. But if you say my father is member of parliament, then you have to say my father is a member of parliament. My father is the member of parliament. Understood? Right. And second one also is then very much similar. Nimal wanted to buy what
An
the answer?
MP3 player.
An MP3 player for his sister's birthday. Sheila mentioned that there were no any mistakes in her writing. What's the problem here? Is it right? Tell me quickly, right or wrong?
This is wrong. We have to cut off any.
Is it?
Sir, I think it's correct.
Yeah, for some people it may be correct, for some people it may be wrong. Sheila mentioned that there were no mistakes, correct. Any is not necessary. If you want to say any, then no any කියන දෙකම එක ළඟ දැම්මොත් එතන දෙකම එන්නේ නෙගටිව්. ඒක මත තියාගන්න. There was no any කියලා කිව්වොත් එහෙම it looks like both that is redundancy. No also negative, any is also there negative. So therefore, if you want to say it correctly, Sheila mentioned that there were no mistakes in her writing. Or there were not any mistakes in her writing. That is, those are the two ways of correcting that one. That ගොඩක් වෙලා කියන no any කියන මම අහලා තියෙනවා, even English teachers used to say that. Right? No any water, no any හරිද එහෙම කියනවා. ඉතින් ඒක it doesn't sound well. Grammatical it is not so sound. I mean, it doesn't sound well. It's incorrect, right? No any means both negative, so that you need not use any there. You can say there were no mistakes or there weren't any mistakes. If you want to say any, there weren't
දාන්න පැන්දර දාන්න ගෙන මේක කුටුවට දාන්න එපා රෙදි ඕක
there
හොදන්න
weren't any
කීයක් කෙරුවද
mistakes. Right. So when you answer, you can unmute, and then when you just when I speak, you can mute your mic so that your maybe unnecessary noise may not come in. Right. Next one. It was the saddest thing, the most saddest thing I ever saw in my life.
It was the saddest thing, not
It
most
was
saddest.
the saddest thing.
Oh, better double. I will better double superlative form. I will not necessary, right? It was the most avashana. It was the saddest thing I ever saw in my life. The children should be handled more carefully at present. What is the correct answer?
Instead of more, can we use much, sir?
Handle more carefully. Then more carefully. Comparative form in that. Much more. You can say much more carefully. Also, you can say the children should be handled much more carefully at present. Any idea from anybody? There are 78 people. Then when you understand, you must have this understanding when writing.
More is unnecessary there.
No, you can use it. At present means than the past. Right? More carefully at present than the past. We can see that way.
No mistake. No mistake, sir.
Yeah, no, apparently no mistakes, but idea, the meaning. So there's some problem with the meaning. I'll tell you without wasting time. Here, the is not necessary. Children should be handled more carefully at present. අපි the කියලා දැම්මොත් මොකද කලින් තෝ ප්‍රශ්නයක් දීලා තියෙ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඕක. The කියලා දැම්මොත් you refer to some set of
Particular
students.
group.
Specifically you mention. You make a reference to a set of students. The children. So in general terms, when we say, you need not say the. Right? Teachers should be treated with more respect at present. එතකොට the teachers කිව්වොත්. එතකොට the teachers means the teachers in our system, the teachers in Colombo district, the teachers at international schools. So that you can say that way. The teachers with you refer to that kind of particular set of teachers, group of teachers.
So specific, no?
Specific, that is correct. So therefore, here there is not necessary. Unconsciously we use these things when writing. Unnecessarily we put these articles and all these things unnecessarily, which can really confuse readers. Or what you express may not be understood by readers. I will tell you in the next we are going to discuss many very interesting slides with some examples as how meanings get twisted because of this wrong use of punctuation marks and certain words. Hello. Again. ඔව් ගන්න කිව්වා මේ දැන් නම් කතා කරන්න බෑ මට කතා කරන්න 12න් පස්සේ මම කෝල් එක දෙන්නම් after 12 o'clock I will give you a call right thank you so that therefore remember that you need not say the children, you simply say children. The children here in Sri Lanka, the children in America or Australia, New Zealand, even any part of the world, no problem. Even Ethiopia, all are children. So every child should be handled more carefully at present because of this modern technology and all these things, right? So they usually can get corrupt very easily, right? They are vulnerable. So therefore, as parents, as teachers, we can say these days children should be handled more carefully. Understood, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Good. And next one, number 6.
So I think the word of choice is wrong here. Elected gives some other meaning.
No.
So they were elected.
Were elected?
They were elected.
No.
Passive voice.
No.
Sri Lankan team won the toss, so they elected to play first.
Yeah, you can use a linking word there. That is right. So they elected to play first. Okay. Right. So any other comments on this?
So the second part should be passive, no, sir?
No.
They should be elected now. How can they elect?
They now once now if you have listened to this cricket commentaries, usually the announcers say that Sri Lankan team won the toss and elected to play first. So they are the people who can say elect.
They say, sir, that is their modern English.
No. No, they were not. They were elected. They elected. That means they preferred. They selected to play first.
Okay, sir.
Right? Understood. So the problem here is with the comma. Right? The problem is with the comma. Here you can't use. Now these two sentences are independent clauses. Again, they can stand by themselves. Sri Lankan team won the toss. Full stop. They elected to play first. Another sentence. So that if you put a full stop here instead of a comma, then both are correct. Or you can use a conjunction, linking word. Sri Lankan team won the toss and elected to play first. Right? Or you can put here semicolon. Sri Lankan team won the toss, semicolon. They elected to play first. Perfect. Very simple. Next one, number 7.
After AR, the comma is not needed.
After AR. Nah,
Before end, we don't use a comma, sir.
Comma. Yeah.
Right. Hari. Right, but there's still another problem. It is correct.
The environment, sir. Article should come.
The environment. The environment or the environment. Right, no problem. Environment one, the environment, right. Right. The environment is polluted in 3 ways. For example, if you look at more carefully, you can find another big mistake. But it doesn't look big, but it is a mistake in writing.
Is being polluted?
Yeah, you can say even is being polluted, has been polluted. But is polluted right? The environment is polluted every day.
As you form.
No, it is okay. Yeah, it is there, right?
Easy.
Huh? Yes,
For example, is not necessary there.
that is the word. That is the answer. If you use colons, again, you need not say, for example. That means colon, you use colons to give you some kind of description or explanation or more details or more information. So that not necessary to write again, for example. Or you can just delete semicolons and then say, for example, water, land, air, and sound. Like next one. So we are going to learn all these things in great detail. Number 7. Come on. Oh, Sadhya Nani. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hari. I උත්තරයක් නැත්තේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ. ගොඩක් කට්ටිය ඉන්නවනේ මට ටක්කලා කියන්න උත්තරේ මොකක්ද කියලා.
Sir,
අපි හොම
instead,
වැරදි. Don't worry.
sir, instead of better, we can use well. Getting well.
No.
Our economy is getting better now.
No, that is
But
adjective, no,
if you say if you use the background,
adjective, sir, that is economical.
what is the problem here? What is the problem with that economical?
Economic background.
That is what it should be, economic background, right? So many people have the problem of using this economical and economic. So what is the meaning of the difference between economic and economical? What is the difference? Don't worry about your mistakes. I am not going to criticize you.
Economical is adjective, sir. Then economic is noun.
No. Both are adjectives.
Economy is the noun, na, sir.
Yeah, economy is noun, right? Economy is noun. Economical is an adjective. Economic is also an adjective. But I mean, what is the difference in meaning? Economical and economic. Bas තග්ගල කියන බලන්න මේ
ආර්ථිකමය ආර්ථික සහ ආර්ථිකමය.
Yes. What is the problem? Come on, anybody?
Economical mean cheap and economic mean related to the economy.
All right. Economical means
Cheap, not expensive.
correct. Correct. That is the difference. Remember, economical is related to some kind of cheap. Another meaning is cheap. For example, cooking from gas is more economical than cooking from electricity. Benz cars are less economical than Maruti cars. Maruti cars are more economical than Benz cars. Right? Living in Sri Lanka is more economical than living in London. That means cheap or cheaper. Economic is related to economy. Our economic background is rather poor. You can write last one. Come on. Though we got permission from the teacher, the principal didn't let us to go out.
Let us go out.
Correct. Here, let us එතකොට මෙතන to එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකමත් තියාගන්න. එතන අපි එකට කියනවා මේ to දාන්න නැහැ. එතන එතකොට let us go out. So I'll discuss these things. It becomes bare infinitive. Right? To එන්නේ නැහැ. To infinitive දාන්න නැහැ. එතන එන්නේ bare infinitive. Okay, right. Now they are saying which I have learned. So therefore, even as teachers, don't worry about your mistakes. Who makes no mistakes makes nothing. Hence, I mean, principle එක ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ. නිශ්ශබ්ද වෙන්න එක නෙමෙයි මොතන වෙන්න ඕනේ. Don't be silent. Even let your children come up. Yes.
There's a saying, sir, to err is human.
Yeah. Right. Forgive is divine. To err is human. Understood?
Yes, sir.
That's right. So likewise, who makes no mistakes makes nothing. So අපි ළමයින්ගෙන් පටන් ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වුණොත් everything is perfectly right at the beginning from our students. So as teachers, we are wrong. So let them make mistakes, let them break things, let them destroy things, and finally construct and build and correct themselves, rectify things in the proper manner, so that you are helping as teachers. So what we do at the school is we always look at fluency and accuracy right at the beginning, even without teaching. How can students do it? As teachers, even as teachers, we have a lot of doubts when we write something. So just imagine the nature of the students, level of the students then those who are studying under your guidance. So make sure that you have that patience and understanding of your students. So it is quite natural to make mistakes, quite true. But it's our duty as teachers to guide them with empathy, love, kindness, affection, and everything, other than going for punishments. Right, so with that message, I want to start today's work. මම පොඩි approach එකක් දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ පොඩි අවබෝධයක් ලබා දෙන්න අපි why we should go for this advanced English. එවනම් මේ advanced වලදී advanced කියලා කියන්නේ ලොකු බරපතල text ගෙනල්ලා නැත්නම් materials දීලා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ not just checking your comprehension and other things, right? It is something very simple, but even simple things we have to be quite okay with the understanding of their application, their meaning, their relevance, and the appropriacy. So everything should be there with us when we write something, so that readers may not get confused. Having said all these things, we'll see. Right. The first part of our discussion today is like this. What is a sentence fragment? දැන් මේක ගොඩක් වෙලාට ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ පොඩි ප්‍රශ්න වලට අහන ප්‍රශ්නයක් මේක හැම අවුරුද්දකම වාගේ. ඒක නිසා පොඩ්ඩක් මේක මතක තියාගන්න. Just keep that in mind with some examples. Don't simply write the definition and then escape. So if you write something, it should be evidence-based. Justify with one or two examples so that we know that you are well aware of the answer to the given question. A sentence I have just highlighted with yellow different colors, what it means. A sentence fragment is a collection of words that looks similar to a sentence. It looks similar to a sentence, but actually isn't a complete sentence. It is not a complete sentence. It looks like a sentence, but it does not look like, it is not a complete sentence. Sentence fragments usually lack a subject or verb or don't express a complete thought. Whilst a fragmented sentence can be punctuated to appear similar to a sentence, complete sentence, it is no substitute for a sentence. But even though it is there punctuated, it is punctuated, it does not substitute, right, for a correct or complete sentence. So therefore, for example, the fragments, sentence fragments features grandmother died, funeral Wednesday. Right? Then we have telegram fragments. We don't write all the adjectives, adverbs, nouns, pronouns, prepositions, articles, all these things. We just convey the message to reduce the number of words to make it cheap. So grandmother died, funeral Wednesday. Grandmother, right? No preposition, right? Articles, nothing. But idea is understood. Tired waiting, going back. The make up me note. I am tired of waiting for you and I'm going back. Can't wait any longer. So how you can really express when you, especially our children, not you all really. Our students, when they write, now you can identify whether they are fragments or not. So if they are fragments, then you are there to help them, guide them, correct them. Let's look at some very interesting fragments. Right. I'll give some examples. Right. Here I said that it lacks a subject, verb, object. It lacks a subject, a verb, or don't express a complete thought. We'll see some examples. It lacks a subject. When it lacks a subject, now you see what kind of utterances that we make. Ran like a cheetah. Ran like a cheetah. So what is the situation that we can use this? Subject cheetah what is the situation that we can use for this?
That she was very fast.
Yeah, he ran very fast because of what? So somebody running very fast. That implies somebody running very fast. So what is the context?
Race.
It can be a race, yeah. Especially a school sports meet. So context, and according to the context that we can guess that the meaning of fragment. Another situation, maybe a thief being chased by the police. A thief being chased by the police. You can say balhanku. The police could not catch him. So it is contextual. Second one, it lacks a verb. The subject, the verb. Right? I will highlight that part as well. Look at the example. Right? It lacks a verb or has the wrong verb form. My best companion. What did he or she or do or say? We don't know. My best companion. Make a monavastha අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්. On what occasion, or what is the context we can use for this, use this?
When introducing a friend,
Yeah, you can say that also. Yeah, when introducing a friend of yours, yeah, my best companion, my best friend. Oh, really? You can see. Yeah, that is good. I did not think that, but I have some other ideas in my mind. My best companion. අපි බොහොම සෑඩ්ලි කියන්න පුළුවන්. බලන්න දැන් ගෙදරට ඔයාලා හුරතලා තමන්ගේ හුරතලෙක් නැති වෙච්ච වෙලාවට පූස් පැටියෙක් බඩු පැටියෙක් ඒ වගේ සතෙක්. අනේ බලන්නකෝ. මගේ හොඳම my best companion. Right? So likewise you can say. So it is a residual phrase. It is a residual phrase. What is this residual phrase? Palan, something left over. For better or worse. Right? For better or worse. To live or die. To be or not to be. Right? What is better or worse? What is it modifying? We don't know. How can you complete this? He went abroad for better or worse. Right? He went abroad for better or worse. He gave up his job. Right? For better or worse. So that it gives you full complete meaning once you have that. So that here three things we discussed: lacking a subject, lacking verb, and it is a residual phrase, leaving off something. It is an abandoned clause. It is an abandoned clause. Abandoned. Example, when he graduated from the university, so it is a dependent clause, in other words. Right? Complete nag. It needs something else to be completed. When he graduated from the university, what happened we don't know. So that you can when he graduated from the university, he went abroad. When he graduated from the university, he found a job. When he graduated from the university, you can say he got married. So likewise, you can say that way. Right, next one. It is an improper use of such as, for example, especially, etc. Improper use, unnecessarily you use it. Example, such as my brother fell off his bike. Right? It is unclear. Did something happen when my brother fell off his bike? Such as my brother fell off his bike. Right? For example, so what is the context that you can tell? Any similar context? You go to the accident ward in a hospital, and you see one gentleman, right, with bandages and plasters and all these things, hanging his legs up, right, likewise. So you immediately remember at the time in the past or in some time, your brother also fell off his bike and then was under same circumstance, undergoing the same course with all bandages and plasters and everything. So that you remember, and then you say, oh, you see, such as my brother fell off his bike. So these are fragments, but still in dialogues, in films, in short stories, novels, you find these things in abundance. As you go on reading, you can understand which one is a fragment, which one is not a fragment. Next one, an example of abandoned clause. Abandoned clause එක මේකේ මොකද එතකොට, right? When she graduated from Lincoln University, such as my brother had a fall from the ladder, right? For better or worse, ran like a cheetah. එතකොට මේවා වෙනස්. So this abandoned clause එකට අපි ගන්න පුළුවන් this one, first one. When she graduated from the Lincoln University, right? The other part is abandoned. The listener has to guess. Another problem that we find, which I mentioned earlier, in written English usage, a comma splice is, or comma fault is the use of a comma to join two independent clauses. දැන් මම ඔයාලට first slide එකේ මම පෙන්නන්නේ මේක තමයි. මෙන්න මේ error එකට අපි කියනවා comma splice. yellow color මම highlight කරලා මේක comma splice. Right? Sri Lankan team won the toss. Unnecessarily, you put a comma here with two independent clauses. You can say වැරදි. Right. So here, for example, it is nearly 5:30. We cannot reach the town before dark. We cannot reach the town before dark. The comma splice is sometimes used in literary writings to convey particular mood of informality. Because creative writing, well, you can see that, but in academic writing, formal writing, we don't use this. You can කමාවක් දැම්මත් ඒක බලන්න ඒක කොතෙක් දුරට මේ නිවැරදිද කියලා එතකොට අපිට we know how to use them in the proper manner. Next one. Now look at this. Now there are some ways of correcting these comma splices. Now look at this example, 3 examples. The experiment was unsuccessful. The temperature was not controlled sufficiently. Right? The experiment was unsuccessful. The temperature was not controlled sufficiently. The use of comma is wrong. The splices. The opening paragraph was incredibly moving. It touches on the common fear of losing a loved one. Money is not the only motivating factor for people to work. Self-worth and the need for more social interaction can also be reasons for working. Now look at this. How good, how they have written. But apparently it doesn't look that they are wrong. But still they are wrong. Now you see how you can correct these things.
Conjunction should be used there, sir.
Yeah, there are 3 ways. Correct. One is using a conjunction.
So we can put semicolon.
Yeah, semicolon and full stop. Right? Comma. Replace the comma with the conjunction. Using a conjunction. One way of right. Next one, using a semicolon. Using a semicolon. And last one, using a full stop. On the 3 ways of correcting a comma splices. So perhaps you may be asked to indicate the 3 ways that can be corrected, that the comma splice can be corrected. Replace the comma with a full stop. First one, the experiment was unsuccessful because the temperature was not controlled properly. Second one, replace the comma with the semicolon. No linking word there. The opening paragraph was incredibly moving. It touches on the common fear of losing a loved one. It touches on the common fear of losing a loved one. And the last one, when you write long sentences, be very careful. It can easily go wrong with something, at least, even maybe verb form, maybe punctuation marks, maybe prepositions, maybe articles. The longer the sentence, the more mistakes you can find among your students. So ask them to write short sentences, at least with full stop, no problem, until they develop the art of writing or the writing skill. Money is not the only motivating factor for people to work. Self-worth and the need for more social interaction can also be reasons for working. Right. Now here you find තමාව දැම්මට ඒක නිකන් confusing type තියෙන. ඒක නිසා තමයි අපිට මේක දාන්න පුළුවන්. Right, conjunction, semicolon and full stop. ඔන්නේ කරුණු කාරණා හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න ඕගලන්ට අනිවාර්යයෙන් මේකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් ආවොත් එහෙම, so that you can, if you ask to correct how to correct comma splices, then you can say there are 3 ways of correcting comma splices. First one, using a conjunction, for example this one. Second way of correcting comma splice is using a semicolon, for example. Example. And finally, the last way of correcting a comma splice is put a full stop. For example, you will be getting full marks. Anybody who couldn't understand? Well, you can interrupt me at any moment, no problem, right? I love to be interrupted. Not that what I say is just heard and then kept quiet throughout the 3 hours, and then make me also more exhausted, because as teachers you all know that how difficult it is to go on explaining and teaching 3 hours at a stretch. You can say you also feel tired. Right, so these are ways of correcting comma splices. Now have a look at this one. Fused sentence. Now another type of sentence called fused sentences. Taba meg dila dino contrast එක දෙකම contrast දීලා තියෙනවා. Right, දෙකම contrast එකෙන් දීලා තියෙනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට. Comma splice and the other side fused sentences. Fuse. බලමු මොකක්ද කියලා ඒක. Now you know comma splices. A comma splice refers to a sentence error where a comma is used to separate 2 independent clauses. Not dependent clauses, 2 independent clauses, which they can stand by themselves on their own. On the other hand, fused sentence is again the opposite. A fused sentence is an error where 2 independent clauses are incorrectly placed together without using any punctuation or coordinating conjunctions. So එතකොට අතන කමාවක් තියෙනවා අනවශ්‍ය විදිහට. මෙතන කිසිම දෙයක් නැහැ. Incredibly placed together without using any punctuation or linking words. එතකොට ඒතන අතන join කරන sentence එකකින් few sentence වල it is not connected by means of any linking word or anything, even a comma. අපේ ළමයි දිනවනේ කොහොම ගොඩක් තමයි. Then next one involves a comma characteristic. Involves a comma, correct. Next one does not involve any punctuation, no punctuation marks at all. They are all alone. Next, or the last point. You can easily fix the correct you can easily fix a comma spliced by adding conjunction, changing the comma to a semicolon, or something turning each independent clause into an individual sentence. Hello. Good morning. I'm lecture again. ලබන මාසේ පටන් ගන්නවා කියන්නේ. ඔව් බොහෝ විට ලබන මාසේ පටන් ගන්න කියන්නේ හරි. Right, so that those three ways of correcting using a conjunction, semicolon or full stop. Here you can easily fix it by turning each independent clause into an individual sentence. Again, putting a full stop, adding semicolon just after the first independent clause, or adding a comma and a coordinating conjunction right after the first independent clause. I'll give some examples. දැන් මේකේ මට කියන්න බලන්න which ones are few sentences, which ones are comma splices. Very easy.
First one and fourth one are comma splices.
ඒක අහන්න දෙයක්වත් නෑ කොමාව තියෙන සෙන් අහන්න දෙයක්වත් නෑ නේද? කොමා මොනවද නැතිව punctuation marks නැතිව තමයි එතකොට few sentences, right? First and fourth ones are comma splices, where for both independent clauses they have been separated by means of a comma, whereas second and third one they are sentences not joined by the relevant punctuation marks or coordinating conjunctions. ඒක නිසා මේ දෙකම වැරද්දක් අපිට දකින්න පුළුවන්. Fine. The Megolo Hame story, this story you might have heard. Well, see how interesting this is. Anybody heard of this earlier?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. Some of you may have heard, but me samhar group එකේ මම advanced teaching of writing වලට කියලා දුන්නා. ඔය මට මතකයක් තියෙනවා. මම කියලා දුන්නත් දන්නෙත් නැහැ. But this appeared on Walter Facebook as well. I saw many times. Right, so an English professor wrote the words, "A woman without a man is nothing." Just 7 words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No punctuation marks, nothing, but he mentioned that a woman without a man is nothing. Yeah, that is true. Any gents in or gents time or any gentlemen studying here? නෑ වගේ ඉන්නවන කතා කරනවා. Right. Doesn't matter. I will represent all the gentlemen, right? So on the chalkboard and ask the students to punctuate it correctly. So the boys punctuated like this. All the males in the class wrote like this. A woman without a man is nothing. But in the class, those girls were more, I mean, they were smarter than boys. They put punctuation marks in this way. A woman without her man is nothing. Boys, males, students mention woman without a man is nothing. A woman without her man is nothing. Right? So I agree with both sentences, second and third. A woman without a man is nothing. A woman without her man is nothing. Understood the importance of using punctuation marks in your writing. When you don't use these things, right, then the problem arises for the examiners at exams. But if you also write with commas and all these things unnecessary putting, the idea might get twisted and the examiner may not be getting interested in what you have written. Right? They just reduce marks. Then some similar examples. Read these things and see. Who can tell me what is happening here? What is the meaning implied? Yes, anybody? Right? Why punctuation matters. Some people find inspiration in cooking with their families and their dogs. So they are interested in cooking their families and dogs. But others find inspiration in cooking their families and their dogs. Now you see how they can differ because of that problem.
Sir, first one may be happiness
Which one?
situation.
Which one?
The first sentence.
Why some people find inspiration in cooking their meals, families and children, dogs there. That one.
Yes, sir, maybe.
Interesting, may make people happy. How can it be? How do you say that people are happy when you see first one? So here what happens is you are cooking your families and pets, right? But others find inspiration in cooking their families and their pets. Understood?
Meaning completely changes.
Yes, definitely. Same meaning. Clear? I am cooking my pets and my family. Don't be a serial killer. Use serial commas and love eating, cooking your pets, your family, and everything. Look at this one. මෙතන මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? Who can tell me? What has happened to children? Poor children. How can you tell that one? Anybody? Come on.
It means that the toilet is only for the children who are disabled, elderly, and pregnant.
That is right. It's a very big insult for the children. එහෙම නේද?
Yeah.
Right? You see, toilet is used only for disabled, elderly, pregnant children. මෙතන elderly කියන වචනේ නැතුව තිබ්බනම් එහෙම තවත් හොඳයි. තවත් meaningful. Disabled, pregnant children. How nice. So therefore, that is why we have to be very careful when we use punctuation marks wherever possible. ඒතර මම මෙතන එකක් ලියලා ඇති. මෙන්න මේකත් ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා ඇති. refresh කරනවා. දැන් මේක බලන්න. Kill him. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගාම මේ කතන්දරය this is a very famous story. Right? When the king ordered an innocent man to be beheaded, right? The guard took him the message and they took the man as well. And he knew that the man was innocent. And then he read the message. And the message was, kill him, not let him go. But the guard changed that, the place of comma, right? Rescuing or saving his life. Kill him, not let him go. So සිංහලෙන් දාලා තියෙනවා මරන්න එපා බේරන්න. මරන්න එපා බේරන්න. ඔය ආකාරයට ඉතින් අපිට so very interesting examples are there, right? In different contexts. But see how this comma has saved one's life. ඒ වගේ අපි කමාරේ පොඩි දේවල් දානකොට so we have to be very careful. Right. මේක සමහරට මම හිතුවා මට දුවගේ මොන මතකයක් තියෙන බලන්න ඕනට මේ ඩග්ගේ කතාවක් කිව්වද කියලා. Here you are going to learn maybe 9 to 10 ways of using commas appropriately with understanding. දැන් ගොඩක් කියලා කරනවා ඒක හිතන දැන් වල කොමා දාන අපි දන්නේ නැහැ මේක දැමිය යුතුද නැද්ද කියලා. නමුත් ඒක දැමිය යුතුයි ඒක. හරියට දැම්මේ නැත්නම් ඒකේ අදහස වෙනස් වෙනවා. We'll see how we can really use commas to bring correct meaning. First one. Use a comma before any coordinating conjunctions. Right? And, but, for, or, no, so, yet. What are my coordinating conjunctions here? That links to independent clauses. Remember, independent clauses which can stand by themselves. Use a comma after a dependent clause that starts a sentence. Use a comma after an independent clause. Independent clause here? When I went running. So when I went running, that part is dependent clause. Right? I saw a duck. Complete meaning. It's a dependent clause. So independent clause is allowed. It was a dependent clause. But if you put it this way, අපි පස්සේ කියවෙනවා අපි පොතේ මෙන්න මෙහෙම දෙයක්. I saw a duck. It's a lava. Right? I saw a duck. I saw a duck. එතකොට අපිට කොමාවක් දාන්නේ I saw a duck when I went running. මෙතන. right. මෙහෙම තුන බලන්න. I saw a duck. Right. Here, first example, I saw a duck when I went running. I went running and I saw a duck. When I went running, I saw a duck. Put the hand in there. Do something else. Right? When I went running, I saw a duck. Right. එතකොට මෙතන second one දීලා තියෙන වෙනස් එක. Use a comma after independent clause that starts in. Use a comma before coordinate conjunctions. When I went running, use a comma after dependent clause that starts in. Right. When I went running, I saw a duck. Same thing. Two independent clause. Right. So, that links to independent clauses. Right. Second one, use a comma after dependent clause that starts in. Right. Number 3, Balan. Look at number 3. Use commas to offset appositives from the rest of the sentence. Appositives. That means you use some information, right? While running, I saw mallard, a kind of duck. While running, I saw a mallard, a kind of duck. While running, comma, that is independent clause, a dependent clause. I saw a mallard, independent clause. Right? A kind of duck, some kind of information about the duck. A kind of duck is the appositive, which gives more information about the mallard. A mallard, the kind of duck I saw when I went running, attacked me. Green color. A mallard, the kind of duck I saw when I went running, attacked me. Use commas to separate items in a series. Use commas to separate items. This one we do very often. Again, what this check මොනවද දෙයක් හදනකොට නැත්නම් කාපු බීපු දෙයක් ගැන කියනකොට ගිය තැන් අරගෙන විස්තර කරනකොට අපි ඔය කතන්දරේ කියනවා series of events or items. I saw a duck, a crow and a buffalo when I went running. There you can use that one. Right? I saw a duck, a crow, an elephant, a python, a zebra, and a buffalo when I went running. So you can use it any way that you like, but remember how to use
Excuse me,
commas.
sir.
Yes.
Is the comma necessary before and, I mean, after crow?
After which one?
A crow.
Which sentence? Tell me the number.
The
Number 4, I
last
saw the duck.
example, sir.
A crow. Then there is a comma. Is that necessary? Because when separating items, we don't put a comma before and.
I saw a duck, a crow, and but usually before this conjunction, using the conjunction and, you can say rice and curry. There you did not use a comma. But when you are using a series of things, then the highlight karna make it may computer highlight karna kamawa tiyen hone. Right? I saw a duck, a crow, and a buffalo when I went running. So this is really hilarious, sometimes funny. So that is why we say that English language is a funny language. So there are certain rules we can't justify sometimes, but we are using that one. Now, few more things before we go for a break. I feel like having a cup of tea, but again, use a comma after introductory adverbs. We use this very often in our short stories, and we see, and then when we read, we find that we get the dramatic effect as well. Unsurprisingly, I saw a duck when I went running. Amazingly, I saw a duck when I went running. Unbelievably, interestingly, suddenly, I saw a duck when I went running. I saw a duck when I went running. When I went running, I saw a duck. When I went running, make first part මේ part එක independent clause. මේක තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම තිබුණේ. එතකොට මේකෙන් පස්සේ එනවා නම් කමාවක් දානවා නම් මේක පස්සේ එනවා නම් අපි කමාවක් දාන්නේ. Unsurprisingly, I saw a duck when I went running. So no commas at all there, except this, after this introductory adverb. Number 6. Use a comma when the first word of the sentence is freestanding. Yes or no? Right? Right? Dialogues. You find lot. Right. No, the duck didn't bite me. Yes, I saw a duck when I went running. Yes, I saw a duck when I went running. Number 7. Use a comma between adjectives that modify the same noun. I saw the big, mean duck when I went running. I saw the big, mean duck when I went running. Number 8. Use a comma to offset a negation in a sentence. Use a comma to offset negation in a sentence. Negation means you say no. Right? Negate. Noun is negation. For example, I saw a duck, not a seal, or not a deer, or not an elephant when I went running. I saw a duck, not a seal, not a baby seal when I went running. When you have this negation in the sentence, you can use comma. Next, beware of putting a comma before but every single time. But it should only be used when connecting two independent clauses. If there are two independent clauses only contrasting ideas, then you can use but. Otherwise, you can't use that one. I wanted to quack, but had it's time to quack. Right? Oh, but sorry, I wanted to quack, but I had no voice. Both sentences are two independent clauses. I wanted to quack, I had no voice. Complete sentences. But some similar areas. Now, this is a confusion for many students, not for teachers. Because අයිති හැඟවීමේදී අපි භාවිතා කරන සහ shortened forms, abbreviations, when we use these things, indicates contractions. Yeah, contractions. Acceptable in scholarly writing and possessives. අපි සාමාන්‍ය academic writing වල දාන්නේ නැහැ මේක. ඒක තියාගන්න හොඳට. But in dialogues, short stories, and all the dramas, novels, you can find plenty of them. General practice is to form the possessive or monosyllabic proper names ending in a sibilant sound. Sibilant again, a sir sounding. Sir, sh, sounds. In addition, by adding an apostrophe to another's Keats' poems, Marx's theories, except by convention for names in classical literature, Mars or rats. Yeah, correct. Nam කියනකොට මේ sibilant කියලා කියන්නේ mini sounds, sir sounds. ඒ නම් වලට තියෙනවා නම් සමහර නම් වලට Marx's theory. Right? With Keats' poems. එහෙම දානවා. ඊගාවට බලන්න. In words of more than one syllable ending in sibilant. In words of some more than one syllable ending in syllable, only the apostrophe is added. Hopkins' poems, Cervantes' poems, noise, except for names ending in sibilant and a final E. Horace's notes that the possessives of a name ending in silence is formed by. I'll give some examples. They are not relevant to us really, especially this part. Highlight කරනම් දැන් බලගන්න. Boys college, girls college, ඒ වගේම girls college. Then she's කියලා දැම්මම එතන අපිට උත්තර තුනක් ගන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. She has, she was, නැත්නම් she is. But we have to give the timeline. For example, then if you expect the answer, she is blank within bracket play at this moment. එතකොට අපි දන්නවා she is playing. At this moment කියලා දෙනකොට she is playing. But if you say she is blank to the market, එතකොට අපි දන්නවා ඒකෙන් ඕනි has එන්න ඕනි past participle එක verb එකයි. She's gone to the market. Next one. Yeah, she has ethical. Yeah, similarly, I had, I would. ඒකත් තියාගන්න. I would කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒකට verb එක එන්න ඕන අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම simple present tense. I would. But I had කිව්වොත් ඒක ඊට වඩා තේරුම වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. තමන් so I means as the doer. So when we are බලන්න how you can really think of developing and helping your students communicate in written language using these things appropriately. You may have had some kind of doubts, I know that. But see how you can well teach them well and enlighten them in the long run. Semicolon. Right? Semicolon කතා කරලා semicolon කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. Very interesting මේක. Semicolon අපිට ගොඩක් අපි when you are outreaching the word limit, exceeding the word limit, you can switch on to this kind of practices and see how you can save time. That is very important. Semicolons are used to separate items in a series when some of the items require the internal commas. According to they are used between independent clauses and not joined by a coordinating conjunction, but they may be used before the coordinating conjunction. And in the compound sentence, if one is completely independent clauses, requires a number of internal commas. We'll look at some examples. Even I also can't understand this definition sometimes, but when you study, analyze an answer, you can easily think of the meaning. Look at these examples. Right. Now here, use a semicolon in place of a period to separate two sentences. Now, as I told you, the use of semicolons here, where the conjunction has been left out. Call me tomorrow. I will give you my answer then. Right. Now here, call me tomorrow. Then either you can say, right, so I will, without semicolon, you can say, I will call and I will call you. Likewise, so that no, it's the linking word is dropped. Instead, they have used colon, semicolon. Next one, use with conjunctive adverbs. Example, consequently, furthermore, however, therefore. So when we use this kind of conjunctive adverbs, she's really nice. Then use see how beautiful it is. She's really nice. However, she gets in trouble in school. Right? She is really nice. However, she gets in trouble in school. So when however කලින් දාලා තියෙනවා conjunction එක however පස්සේ however comma with the transitional expression like right Stan loves sports. In addition, he has excellent coordination. Something similar to the second point. Use with that already have commas. Use with that already have commas. Right, this conference has people, right, this conference has people who have come from Boise, Idaho, Los Angeles, California, and Nashville, Tennessee. මේ වගේ අපි ගමන අර series of right දානකොට එතනත් ඒ විදිහට දාගෙන but still remember that if it confuses you, you use the simplest manner. දැන් මේකේ විවිධාකාරයෙන් දාලා තියෙන even we get confused sometimes. The best thing is when you use, you go for punctuation marks which you really know. You can go for say linking word, right? Coordinating conjunction, or you can use a full stop to make it to separate complete sentences, or you can use a semicolon dropping the linking word. So different ways you can use, but thorough knowledge. Only thing is that when you read, especially even if you can't read, if you can't use these things with an understanding, this make teach karate make right? That you have to use it. You have to use it very quite often. Then only that you become familiar with, especially with your writing. You write articles or newspaper articles or research articles or write documents. I don't know how often you write, but when it comes to writing only and practicing, through practice only, that we can really become very familiar with this kind of practices of how to use these punctuation marks. Or else, if you have some confusion, even when you write your this research paper, go for punctuation marks which you are familiar with. එහෙම නැතු යන්න එපා. ඒක නිසා දන්න ටික භාවිතා කරන්න, නොදන්නේ දේවල් දාන්න නැතුව. එතකොට ඒක so there won't be any confusion for the reader. I'll see the difference again, colon and semicolon. You can see the contrast here. The colon is a punctuation mark. Introduce a list of things. Introduce a dependent clause. Right? Examples: a man needs 3 things to survive. For example, a man needs 3 things to survive. What are they? Air, water, and food. I have packed my cricket kit with the equipment I need: bats, gloves, and pads. On the other hand, semicolon separates sentences where conjunction has been left out, link sentences which also use words such as otherwise, however, therefore, Sumit likes to play cricket. Amit likes to play soccer. Right? But අපි දැන් ගොඩක් වෙලාට කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Sumit likes to play cricket, but Amit likes to play soccer. But you can write that too, no problem at all. I drank lemonade. Manish drank tea. I did not finish reading the text. Instead, I watched the news. See how you can really incorporate these things in your writing meaningfully. Right, shall we have a break and then go for the next session? The rest of it. Yes or no? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall we go
Yes,
for a
sir.
break and shall we have a cup of tea and then continue from here?
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, good. Even I too feel badly to have a cup of tea. That is why. Okay, let's get back to our discussion. Now, next part is rather simple. Here, this use of dashes and hyphen in your writing. Very mechanical, I mean, very simple things. We even unconsciously, we tend to use these things so that these are not that much serious compared to some other areas. Anyway, just to have an idea of these things, how to use, so that would be quite useful for teachers, especially when you are to educate your students, not really you all, but see a few points to bear in mind. A dash is a simple horizontal. Here you find two types of dashes, N dash and M dash. Few examples are also given, so it's quite enough to just keep these examples in your mind. Only thing is that you see how you can incorporate this in your writing when you write. So N dash and M dash. N dash is a bit shorter than M dash. The hyphen is the shortest. Look at the examples. N dash, right? Express a period of time. Usually we write from this year to this year, that year to that year, right? 1998 to 2005 or 2015 to 2020. And to now here we say that 2023 to 2048 until we think of developing our country as a developed nation. We won't be among the living beings to see that kind of development. Anyway, and second point, indicate a range of numbers 1 to 5, 1 to 50, right? When you use this tally marks, right? We use this N dash very often. 1 to 50, 51 to 100, 101 to 150, 151 to 200. So likewise. And also use with scores, right? The red team 1, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, right? Few examples. Then on the other hand, M dash, right hand side, show a break in a sentence. Show a break in a sentence. Please tell my supervisor, John Wick, on Friday, right? To break a short, show a break in a sentence. Please call my supervisor. Who is that supervisor? None other than John Wick, right? When? On Friday. Marking of unimportant words. Sometimes unimportant words when you write, you can just mark them off with that M dash. For example, like you get to New York from here. You are heading there, right? That is not that much important. You need a car or a train. To create emphasis. My mom loves fish. My dad loves beef. So we don't tend to use this kind of thing for emphasis. Instead, we use a conjunction word like but or whereas. So there are various ways of just expressing our ideas. So you just keep these things in mind so that you can really improve your, beautify your language meaningfully, allowing readers to understand what you write really. So that means that shows, especially now, when these things become very important when you write your research articles, research paper. All research exam at the end.
No, sir.
Research paper. Right. So when you write your research papers, especially before you do your research, before you start writing research papers, first read a few research papers, research articles from the internet. So there you find plenty of research articles. You type your topic and then find some similar articles on that area and read. And when you are reading, just pay attention to the language and also this kind of punctuation marks, how these good writers make use of their punctuation marks, bringing beauty, variety, rhythm, life, and color to their writing. So these are important. Next one. I'll give a small activity now. With all this, what we have now done, listen to me, understood from your understanding, punctuate the following sentences using comma, semicolon. Only 3 things you have to use, not that much, right? Punctuate the following sentences using comma, semicolon, or colon. Even see whether you can do this quickly. දැන් මම කියපු ටික කල්පනා හිතරන් පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න කොහොමද කිය how you can use this. Very simple. I'll give you 10 minutes for this. නිකන් හිතින් හිතනවා. So I'll ask one by one. බලන්න. You read the sentence and then see what you can really understand. Read all very carefully. Very simple. What we have something similar, what we have discussed. Finish. First one. The Gita says life is action.
Comma after says, sir.
The Gita says life is action. Second one, where I will come up with the answers later. Second one.
Semicolon, sir. Man is mortal. Semicolon. God is eternal. That's
Right.
all.
Good. Third one.
colon.
Hmm.
To err is human.
To-
To call.
Where is
Forgive divine.
To err is human, to forgive is divine. Number four.
divine? Bacon says comma, sir. Says after says comma.
Number five.
5 also like that. Pope says after says comma.
Comma.
Yes, sir. Then little knowledge, between little knowledge, we should put dash.
Next one, number 6. The
So,
thing of beauty is a toy for forever. Toy, joy forever.
forever semicolon, sir.
Its loveliness increases. Number 7.
Shakespeare's 4 great tragedies are King Lear, comma, Hamlet, comma.
And
That's
that.
also.
Last one.
Last one. The 2 great books of Nehru are The Discovery of India and Before the End should put comma, sir.
See whether you are right or wrong now. Right? The Gita says, colon, life is action. Right? Giving explanation, elaboration. Man is mortal. This one is correct, what you said. Man is mortal. God is essential. Who's drawing pictures on the screen? To err is human, colon. To forgive is divine. Bacon says, right, ready maketh the full man, colon. Again, Pope says, colon, little knowledge is a dangerous thing. But instead you can use this inverted commas and all that also. But here I have just given you 3 options. again. Remote control. I can't see that otherwise. Right. Then next one. Shakespeare's four great tragedies are, instead of for example, you can write King Lear, Hamlet, Othello, and Macbeth. Last one also same. Right. The other one, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Right. And its loveliness increases. So instead of a linking word, we can use semicolon. And next one, last one, the great books of Nehru are two dots or semicolon, colon. Then you can continue, right? The discovery of India and my autobiography. So likewise, see, very simple in the sense, when you write this, we'll move on. There isn't much really in this episode. Now, who can put punctuation marks here? Now you see how difficult it is when you don't have this punctuation marks, right? I'll give you the answer. Just put put an answer here. Put all these punctuation marks which you have studied up to now, commas and all that, comma, full stop. But can't you hear me?
Can, sir.
You can. Yeah, many can hear, but maybe one or two, I don't know what problem is. What the problem is, just check your gadgets first, your headsets and all these things with the Finish? Who can tell me the first one? මම හිතනවා ඒක එච්චර ලේසි නෑ ඔයාලට හිතන්න. I will give you the answer and then compare the answers, right? Now you see how you can add comma, full stop and all that, and see how you can really bring meaning or sense to such writing. Spring, while we are writing, is here. The winds blow gently. The birds, the flowers and the buds all proclaim the coming of spring. You see how beautiful it is when it comes in that way. Second one, he said, "Why do you come and disturb me? What a nuisance you are!" Exclamation mark. "Why can't you play somewhere else?" Question mark. "Can't you see that I want to work? Go away at once and do not come here again." Maybe taken from a novel or something like that. But anyway, what I want to tell you is to see the difference with punctuation marks and without punctuation marks. How can that be read and understood by the readers? It is very important whenever you write, bring some meaning, right? දැන් මේක බලන්න නිකම්ම නිකන් මේ භාෂා නිකම්ම නිකන් වචන ටිකක් විතරයිනේ. Right? Though they are in order, right? No grammar mistakes as such, but still incomprehensible. We can't read and understand. ඒ නිසා, so when you're writing, go for simple sentences, go for short sentences, go for big ones with linking words and all that, and see how you can bring meaning of what you want to express in that way. Otherwise, that will be a problem for the reader, because sometimes we find it very difficult, especially you may also have experienced this when you are at paper marking centers, right? Where students go on writing and writing and writing without stopping, no full stop, no comma, exclamation mark or anything. They go on writing. What they think is that they are writing the answer, but it may be so according to them, it can be the answer. But once it is read by readers or the examiners, how difficult it is, how embarrassing, how disappointing, because sometimes nothing can be understood. In some other when you are writing, tell your students right at the beginning, and you develop first yourself how you can use these things in writing, and finally you can help your students to write and then see how they can express their ideas in that way. So that is what really I can tell you really today. Very important. This is, I mean, there are so many punctuation marks which I have done for teaching of writing for some of you. I don't know whether some of them are new, some of them are known to me. Anyway, so as teachers, you may encounter a lot of things when you are reading, so that you can incorporate those punctuation marks and then see how you can really do your part, especially when it comes to this research article writing. Because the examiners are very much particular about your, I mean, all mistakes, even a punctuation, even a full stop, if you put in a wrong place, they will circle and then show it. Because I have that experience when I was doing my MA research. I found that even for a full stop, I found that they had marked how this, even a linking word like but, how circled, and how this, right? Here, very large full stop දෙකක් typing mistakes, full stop දෙකක් තිබුණොත් ඒත් mark කරලා තියෙනවා, right? Circle and question mark. Especially when you quote others' writings, others' ideas, right? ඒකත් ක්‍රමසහ විදිහට ඔයගොල්ලෝ research methodology කරද්දී කරයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඒ හැරෙන්න ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ ටික these are some important areas which you can really be thorough with and see how you can express your idea. Now, then the main thing that we do is, especially we use this mobile phone, SMS messages, no spelling, no grammar, no punctuation marks, nothing. So the same practice sometimes goes to question papers as well, answer scripts as well. මොකද අපි දන්න සමහර ළමයි ඔය දැන් ඔය before ඔය සමහරවිට and කියන එක and නම් කියන short form එක දානවා. ඔය සමහර තැන්වල ඒ ළමයි අර SMS language එක භාවිත කරන තැන් තියෙනවා සමහර තැන්. නොදැනුවත් මේක භාවිත කරන ඒ ළමයි සමහර අවස්ථාවල. ඒක නිසා that is a point to lose your marks at exams and research paper writing. ඒ ගැන කරුණු කාරණා සැලකිලිමත් වෙන්න. Finally මේක ඔයගලන්ට මම කලින් දීලා නැහැ මම හිතන විදිහට අලුත් even if I have given you right බලන්න මම මේක ඔයගලන්ට දුන්නා කියලා කාටද කියන්නේ කලින් දුන්නාද anybody who has done this earlier ඉන්නවද group එකේ කවුරු හරි
No, sir.
right මෙතන තියෙන පොඩි ස්ටෝරි එකක් so now here I have incorporated some of the punctuation marks to tell you a story. It is a story which you have to relate by understanding the punctuation marks given in each line. I will do first two lines I will do and afterwards then the prasnarthyak na prasna within brackets now you know that some additional information, right? Some additional information you within brackets. Exclamation mark yakna you know that it's a surprise. Inverted commas, so single or double, you quote what others have said. ඔය ටික විතරයි මේකේ තියෙන්නේ. ඊට වඩා දෙයක් නැහැ මේක. semicolon තියෙනවා, colon තියෙනවා, right? Additional information, explanations, description, elaboration, semicolon වලින් අර විදිහට තියෙනවා. Right? Some especially for example කියලා අපි අර කිව්වේ example කියලා ලියන්න නැතුව අන්න ඒ වගේ. එතකොට දැන් first two lines මම කියන්න love story between two lovers. Now here first line few dots symbolize what they speak. They go on talking. The comma කියලා කියන්නේ right they continue their discussion, their love talk, love story they continue. එතකොට ඊට පස්සේ second line they go on telling various things, different things, right? And they come up with some surprises, like again the surprise, again the surprise. හරි ඒ විදිහට බලන්න මට දැන් කියන්න බලන්න අවසාන මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා මම කතන්දරයක් වශයෙන් කියන්න බලන්න. I'll give you about 10 minutes for this. Don't write anything, or just one or two random. Tell me how you can interpret these exclamation marks to build up this story, an interesting story. Yes, any interpretation? Anybody who can tell me the story? Aisha? Chaturangani? Chaturika? Devuni? Dhammaratana? Vidyalaya? ඔය කවුරුවත් නැද්ද? අහගෙන නැද්ද? ඇහෙන්නේ නැද්ද? ඔයාලට මං කියන්නේ. Or difficult to interpret? Anybody? At least one who has got a kind of idea? A love story නිසා කියන කැමති නැති ඇති එකක්
The
කිසිම එක.
demon lover,
ඈ?
the demon lover story.
නෑ නෑ මං අහන්නේ මේ දේන ටික පොඩ්ඩක් විස්තර කරන්න කියලා මං කියන්නේ. It can be a demon lover as well. So from these punctuation marks, what do you mean in this story? As I explained first 2 lines. Anybody?
So
Yes.
first line maybe half a league, half a league.
No, I mean, without referring to any literary texts, you simply come up with your own words as to how you can describe this punctuation marks and the story hidden in the punctuation marks.
So there may be a boy and a girl from the first
Right.
line. And from the second line, it says that how the life is full of surprises. They enjoy
that is
the
right.
life.
Ah,
Then the third line, from the within brackets, it says that while it's going on, while their love story is going on, third part involves, which means it might be parental influence.
yeah, maybe quite possible. Yes.
From the next line, that the parents are telling different things.
Okay, fine.
And what they are telling is in the next line within inverted commas.
Yeah.
However, at last they are questioning what is this life? Likewise, they are questioning the life.
Okay, right. Interesting. That's all.
In the middle part, I can't get it. At last, however, they are asking, is this the life? Is this the love? Likewise, they are questioning themselves.
That's all.
It might be something like that.
Right. You are very close to what I thought. Really, this is one of my creative works. Okay, right. I will relate the story without wasting your time. Now this is now you know very funny thing. Even you can just now this can be used for communicative activities as well, for communication to develop communicative skills. Right, a love story. So there were 2 lovers. Right, first line as I mentioned. Right, these 2 lovers, they fell in love with each other, and then they love each other. They go on talking and talking and talking, endless talking. Right, and it has some kind of surprise, as you said. It has some kind of surprises as well, right? So they come up with a lot of surprises. Their world is full of surprises. And third line, they again meet and then go on discussing, and there they add some more information to what they say, right? For example, within brackets, right? So you add with additional information, they go on explaining. And second line, the fourth line also, right? They go on talking, but no linking words, but still they just join some ideas they put together, and then they continue their dialogue. And next line, you find some inverted commas. That means they bring in some kind of quotes what others said. Oh, you see, my mother said like this, my father said like that, and now you see what happened, what will happen to us, and all these things you don't know when the people are have the secret love affairs. And next one again, in order commas, they quote certain things. Father said like that, and so said like that. My friend said like that, and but still still continue. And again, so they with some examples in next line, colons, right? So they provide some examples. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it can be in a love triangle. It can be a love triangle, but that is what I told, that you can interpret it in many different ways. It is no words, so that it depends on how you interpret. And then then again going then they go on talking, right? And then there's one exclamation mark, and then some within bracket some more information, and then again some quotes, some original words said by some other people. And again exclamation mark, some kind of surprise, and you find the first question mark. Then question mark, and again unexpectedly there are some surprises as well, and question mark at regular intervals, question mark and question mark and question mark, they go on talking but with question marks. And next line again, question mark, and then exclamation mark, surprise, something unexpected, and again question mark, again question mark. Now you see more question marks than the others. And last one, few dots they speak, and question mark, and two dots, very little they talk, and straightly you find one after the other question marks. And finally you find a full stop at the end. You did not see that one. That means the love story has come to an end with a full stop. That is my love story, right? What I wrote really. Understood? Is it clear now, you all, what I meant to this punctuation marks? Can't
Yes,
hear?
sir.
Itu bang Andika mau kian ඒ වගේ දෙයක් නේ කරන්නේ. මතක තියාගන්න ක්‍රමසාරි මම ඒවට පැහැදිලි කරන්නේ. So that you can really think this means of using these things, practicing these things, and then making your writing readable for the readers, so that in that case you can really convey, put the message across to the audience that you are speaking. හොඳ අපි එතකොට අපි කතා කරේ ගොඩක් දුරට not very much serious, but anyway few things about this, and we'll see next week. I think every Saturday morning I'll be meeting you to discuss this and then continue our work. Next chapter will be improving expression. අපි දැන් බලමු අපි දැන් මේ කියන කතන්දර කියන දේ කොහොමද අපි improve කරගන්නේ. How we can improve our expressions with correct or good English. So there are ample examples, classic examples which I can really use to explain to you how we can really write something meaningfully and then clearly, so that the readers or the listeners can understand what we mean, especially readers, because this is something for written communication. We use all these punctuation marks for written communication, not spoken. When it comes to written communication, especially even at exams, what matters is not what you speak, but what you write at exams. Use try to be more aware of these punctuation marks. I will send these slides or the presentation to your coordinator. Through the coordinator you can get that one. Hope you got something out of this, and then we'll meet next week. Thank you so much for your contribution, participation, and active involvement of some of you. See you all next week then.
Thank you.
God bless you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.